Next step is about the defining vision and objectives. Now, first step in this is important thing is government departments will have number of services. So, should we go for all services together or should we select this certain services? As there can be resources restriction, it is better to have service portfolio and then we need to prioritize the services. And then of course, once we select the services, we can think about the vision of that process reengineering exercise, and finally we need to come up with the measurable objectives. Like in our earlier problem definition also have measurable objectives. So, we can continue with those measures and see what kind of improvements are there. Let us go into detail about service prioritization. There are criteria to filter this services selection. The high value services to citizen and government. Second thing is how is the visibility and complexity of that service, what is feasibility and criticality. All this will be looked at and the priorities are set. Let us go into details. Any service will give the required output to the citizen, and also it will incur a cost for the department. So, when we prioritizing the services, we should see what is the benefit out of it to the department, what is the benefit to the citizens. So, it can be categorized at high, low, high, both the things. So, if we look at the example earlier, if there are number of visit to the government departments are lot, then it is about the high cost for the citizen, and of course, low value. And if we look at the department point of view, if we increase the transaction value, for example, tax collection, if we increase the value, it is a big benefit for the government. Also, if we can process faster, that means processing cost will be less. So, value will generate when the customer gets cheaper solutions, he has to spend less time, he has to visit less number of times, and on the other hand, department will have how we can reduce the cost of processing and also how we can increase the revenue through, it can be about higher compliance or with the higher transactions. Just we will take example, this can be little bit hypothetical because government department will have many number of services, n number of services, whereas here I have taken just simple example of MTDC resort having 10 services. So, first column shows the value to the customer, second talks about the value to the department. So, as per our earlier criteria, high will have the first priority, those services, the then low for the government department and high for the customer will have second priority, third will come at high to the government, low this thing, and fourth will be both things are low. So, in this case whatever combination we are given, so 1 and 4 is the first priority, then 8, then 2, 5, 6 and then 3, 7, 9, 10. So, all the 10 are sequenced as per the priority based on the value to the customer and value to the department. Next criteria is about the visibility versus complexity. So, if it is less complex, right, that means it is low complexity, it will be ease for an automation, right, use of computers, and also complexity will increase with the number of parties involved, number of documents processed. So, based on these your process inputs, we can decide whether service is complex or simple. And also on the other side, we need to look at the visibility, which talks about what is the customer base, and second thing is about to what extent customer will be happy with his experience. Now, if we take example of educational system or colleges, if we have one process, couple of process, suppose one is admission process and another may be process for library issuing books and things. So, if we look at the customer base, then the admission process will have large customer, because it is not just student, his or her parents are also involved. So, we have large customer base. And second thing is it can be a significance, because getting admission is very important, whereas the library automation may take later on, because it does not have the large customer base. So, if we prioritize any government services, you need to look at two things: one, how complex it is, and how visibility is there for that process. So, higher the visibility, it will be better image in the public, and it will be a good signs of governance and good image for the government. We can do the similar exercise what we have done in the first. Here also we can look at the visibility and complexity. The priority, as I said, higher the visibility, more priority will be given, and low complexity, higher visibility will be highest priority. So, in this case 1, 2, 5, these 3 services are there. Then of course, next will be about the 6, 7, 8 and 10, and rest of them are falling in the HL, that means high complexity. So, based on this we will get the another sequence. Since here very few services are considered, I have put all the services here to give the sequence. However, when you have large number of services, say 50, 100, in that case whatever the earlier quadrant, first quadrant, you will get a good number of services there. So, you take only services from that first quadrant and use for the second filter in the, okay. So, that will give the elimination of some of the services, so that we can set the priority. Now, next thing is about what is the feasibility of the that project or technology, and what is the criticality. Something, if it is low risk, will have the high success. Feasibility will be based on if government of Maharashtra has done something in good in this thing, other states can follow, that means there is a feasibility. Or in say Gujarat something has been done, or in Karnataka something has done well. So, we can look at the feasibility of that, and we can implement the same thing in Maharashtra. Second thing is about the criticality, priorities in terms of the services which must be delivered on time and easily. So, overall gain we need to look at this. So, looking at both feasibility and criticality, highly feasible and highly critical processes will go first. Then it is about the high feasibility and low criticality, and then it is about the high the 3 and 4. So, it is the all the quadrants will have different sequence. Here also I have taken the same example of MTDC resort and consider the criticality and feasibility. So, first service is appearing in highest priority here, then 2, 5, 6, and then it is about 10 and 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. So, you got another sequence. As I said earlier, when you have the large number of services, you can filter out the services and select only the first quadrant of at each stage, and then you will have selected few services. Since here only few services is taken, I have taken care to look at the having the all services utilized to show to demonstrate the example.